Barely a month removed from Thomas Crooks managed to successfully breach Secret Service perimeter at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, and fire multiple shots at President Donald Trump, successfully hitting him in the ear, killing a bystander and injuring a third person. Yesterday in North Carolina, we saw further negligence from the Secret Service yet again expose the president to further harm, as reported by Susan Crabtree of Real Clear Politics. During a Donald Trump visit to North Carolina yesterday, a woman Secret Service special agent abandoned her post to breastfeed with no permission/warning to the event site agent, according to 3 sources in the Secret Service community. To be clear, this is a Secret Service agent whose duty is to protect the life of President Donald Trump. This is a Secret Service agency which is under intense scrutiny due to their multiple failures that were displayed little over a month ago that caused one person to die and almost caused President Trump to be assassinated, decides to slip off on her own and start breastfeeding a child without telling anyone that she's abandoning whatever duties have been assigned to her. Shortly before Trump's motorcade arrival, I'm told 5 minutes beforehand, the site agent was getting ready for the arrival. The site agent is the person in charge of the entire event's security. The site agent went to do one final sweep of the walking route and found the agent breastfeeding her child in a room that is supposed to be set aside for the important Secret Service official work, i.e., a potential emergency related to the president. A working agent on duty cannot bring a child to a protective assignment. The woman was out of the Atlanta field office. The woman agent was in the room with 2 other family members. So to be clear, the negligence that's been displayed so far is, first and foremost, this agent is not supposed to be bringing anyone there. She brought not one person, but 2 family members, presumably both of them were minors, and at least one of whom required breastfeeding. Further, she slipped away from her post without telling anyone or getting permission, thereby abandoning whatever duties had been assigned to her. Then she goes into a field office that is set up for emergencies and decides to make that her personal milking station. The agent and her family members bypassed the uniformed division checkpoint and were escorted by an unpinned event staff into the room to breastfeed, the sources said. Unpinned means that they have not been cleared by the Secret Service to be there. Just to be clear on this point, how is it that an unpinned person, someone who does not have clearance, is leading a member of the Secret Service team to this specific room? What is happening here? What on earth is happening in the Secret Service? It is unclear whether this utter incompetence is just standard operating procedure for the Secret Service in its protection of all of their charges, or whether this level of complete misfeasance, malfeasance, ignorance, and incompetence is reserved exclusively for the protection of President Donald Trump. Please leave a comment below. I am curious to know your opinion. Do you think that this neglect of duty, this incompetence, misfeasance, malfeasance, complete lack of self-awareness, that the entire world is scrutinizing their activities right now, in particular with respect to their care of this specific protectee, is a display of their incompetence in general and their standard operating procedure, or whether they reserve this level of neglect exclusively for President Donald Trump? I'd really like your comments down below. What is perhaps more aggravating is the response of the Secret Service upon learning of this neglect of duty by one of their agents. When contacted about the incident, Secret Service spokesman Anthony Guglielmi said the incident did not have an impact on the event and it's under review. Quote, all employees of the U.S. Secret Service are held to the higher standards, he said. While there was no impact to the North Carolina event, the specifics of this incident are being examined. Given this is a personnel matter, we are not in a position to comment further. With all due respect, Mr. Guglielmi, you lost any opportunity to claim this is a personnel matter when your utter incompetence on July 13th resulted in one man dying and the former president, as well as the second person, being shot. You don't get to say this is a personnel matter. You are being scrutinized by oversight committees, by Congress, by the American public, and by the entire world, because you failed utterly. And this was yet again another failure that fortunately did not result in anybody being harmed. You cannot say there is no impact in North Carolina simply because nobody was injured. The impact is that we see that despite the fact that you are aware of the utter shortcomings in your agency, that you still have agents who are so lacking in self-awareness as to the significance of their job, as to the importance of their duties, that they bring children to work, slip off without telling the site agents, and go gallivanting into rooms that are designated for emergency services to turn them into their own personal milking station. She's abandoning her post to breastfeed. As you are well aware, the role of the Secret Service is to throw their own lives in front of the protectee, in this case, Donald Trump. Given the circumstances that everybody is aware that there have been multiple threats to the life of Donald Trump and, in fact, an attempted assassination on Donald Trump, any idiot could appreciate that this is a highly dangerous position for any member of the Secret Service. It's a highly dangerous environment. And you have an individual here, an agent, who decided to show up for work in this highly dangerous environment and bring two family members, including an infant. There's only two possibilities here. Number one, this agent has zero appreciation for the gravity of her job, the seriousness of her responsibilities, the significance of her role, and the dangers that she's in. And if she cannot appreciate those dangers, she is ill-equipped to handle those dangers. She cannot do the job if she does not appreciate the significance and the levels of dangers that she's dealing with here. That she thinks it's totally safe. This is like a day at the parade. We can just bring my kids here, bring my kids to work here. Why not? What's the danger? What's the harm? So either she doesn't appreciate the level of danger, in which case she is ill-equipped to handle that danger, or she does appreciate that it's a highly dangerous job sufficiently to actually meet those dangers, and yet is so reckless in the way she takes care of others, specifically her own children, that she would throw them in the line of fire into this dangerous environment, in which case she's a piss-poor choice to be charged with the duty of protecting the president. She doesn't even know how to protect her own kids. So either way, she's ill-equipped for this job. And given your gross, ineffective incompetence that was manifested to the entire world on July 13th, you don't get to say this is an internal matter. You don't get to say, oh, this is just personnel. We're going to try to work this out. The entire world is watching you, as we should be, because you are terrible at your job. You have displayed that you are terrible at your job. And here, when we have an incident which shows an agent who clearly does not appreciate the dangers of the situation that she's dealing with, or she doesn't appreciate how to be a responsible caretaker of her own children, much less of the president of the United States in a dangerous situation, you do not get to say this is an internal matter. This is just personnel. You need to answer publicly, because you are displaying gross negligence that has risen to the level of recklessness. And we need to know that this job is being handled seriously, and not that the people sitting on top there are protecting and covering up negligence, incompetence, and utterly ridiculous people assigned to protect the life of President Trump. We're watching you. The eyes of the world are watching you, and they should be. Do your job. Do it properly. Do it with transparency. Otherwise, move along and give your job to someone else who's able to do it properly. Please like, share, and drop a comment below. Let me know whether you think this is just innocent negligence or whether we have crossed over into intentional recklessness. Thank you, and Godspeed. And you're calling this a mere personnel matter? Who do you think you are?